Welcome to a new video series I'm going to be doing here at Going Manta. I am planning on converting my Buick TourX into an Opel Insignia Sport Tour. So a lot of different steps to do that, but a couple of them apply to Buick Regals, Buick TourXs, and of course the Opel Insignias and Vauxhall Insignias. And one of those being the steering wheel. Pulling a steering wheel off, there are a couple different varieties of steering wheels and different varieties of how they come apart. The switches are different places. So here's my natural resting place. I have big hands, right? And so this is my natural resting position, and I'm missing that button. I can't get to that button. And I reach down here. These are in very inconvenient spaces, in my opinion. And if you have smaller hands, you're reaching all the way up there. You're just gonna have to take your hand off of it. Over here, the buttons are completely different layout. Well, not a different layout, but they're you can see here where they're tighter and closer to it, so I don't have to lift my thumb or my palm off the steering wheel to get to these buttons. Not like over here, where I have to lift my thumb or lift my hand in general. And like I said, I got big hands. So that's one. The only other real difference is the heated airbag switch is here, and on these, the heated button is in the middle, right there. Like on this GS wheel right here now, the GS wheel has a lot of differences over these two, but it's the same GS wheel design as the wheel we have here in the United States. Again, switches are different, and the airbag is completely different. So that is the primary difference between these two. And like I said, I like the new European style bag better. I think it looks better. It looks less chunky. A lot smoother, a lot cleaner aesthetic. The actual buttons are in better locations for you. All right, before we get started, let's go over the tools you're going to need to do this project. You're going to need a 10mm to undo your battery. You're going to need a collection of different screwdrivers, just basically trying to pry it out. We'll get into that later. And a 7mm extension with socket. You can use this, you can use whatever. You'd be good to have a nice extension on your 1/4 inch. It's gonna make it life a lot easier. And then you're going to need an impact with a T50 Allen. You're gonna need the T50 Allen because that's what's gonna take off your steering wheel bolt. That's the only thing you need. You don't need anything to pull the steering wheel. Simply will slide off. But here is the key. This is not the tool to actually get it off with. It'd be nice if it were. This is a tool you can put it back together with. Because there is a Loctite they use on that bolt, you're going to have an air impact tool to remove that bolt off of the car. We're dealing with an airbag and all the computers and such like that. We don't want to fry anything in special circuitry or things of that nature. So we have to disconnect the battery. Now, the battery is located here. And one thing I wanted to show you real quick is do not disconnect. They hide the positive there, and I think they did this for a very specific reason, so not to fry everything. Because if you disconnect that, your alarm system will go off and lock all the doors. Ask me how I found that out. So, so don't take that off, and don't worry about getting that off. Just pop this one off. It's much easier to pop off. Unbolt that, 10mm, and pull it to the side. And you're done. All right, now that we have the battery disconnected, it's time to take the cover off. And this clamshell comes off pretty easily. There is a 7mm bolt right up underneath it in that hole right there. And then there are two on either side right here, one on either side. And to get to those, you're gonna have to spin the steering wheel to the side so you can uncover where that bolt will be. So let me kind of show you how that all comes apart. All right, there we go. That's simple. Little extension and a 7mm socket, and you got that done. Now we're gonna reach in here and pop the clips that hold this clamshell together. All right, one of the tricks to getting these off is you gotta reach up in there and you gotta push on those clips that we see right there, right? But the key here is that you gotta push in on this while you're reaching in with your other hand to pop them loose. And then it just separates. Next step is to reach right around here and pull It should pop that one loose. And once that pops loose, it just comes right out. And now one of the tricks I learned was with your adjustment, bring the column down, right? Bring the column all the way down and then latch it back up. That'll help you get this piece loose. You look back here, you kind of see it right there. There's a little 7mm screw right back there. There it is, hiding. Yeah, there's no way to get from behind it. You got to turn the steering wheel. And here's the other side. Yep, and they are 7mm, and you will definitely want to use your extension with your long socket to go this way, because it's just going to be easier to get it out that way. Now here comes the challenging part, and that's getting the airbag off once you've gotten this clamshell off. There's no good way of showing it. There was just simply no good way. Now I'm going to show you how to do it with the airbag and the steering wheel off the car, because it's pretty much the same way. It's just, it's not going to be easy to see, and it's going to be hard to get that sucker, get those little clips out of the way. On the back of this is the back of the Buick wheel. You will have this clip, as I mentioned before. This one you will have to lift up. You'll have to get in here and lift it up. It's a little hard to see. I used a brake clip tool and went in here and just popped it up like that. And then this will pop out and up. These two clips are going to be different, completely 100% different. This, you got to get over here into this corner, and you got to lift that spring up. You got to lift it, probably easier with a screwdriver in this case. You got to lift it right there, and then kind of twist a little bit, and you'll get it to kind of get, you got to get that, you can see that right there. That's what you got to do. You got to get that thing to pop over it. And then this slides out into the steering wheel, like so. Now, let me show you how this looks with on the airbag. All right, with the airbag on, you can see why it's a little tricky. So you're trying to get that spring up here. On the bottom one here, when you do this, you get that little thing in there. Like I said, okay, this is where this came in really handy. And you do that, and when you pull on the airbag, get this in it. You get like that, right? You'll be pulling on the back of the airbag. You'll be pulling on the front, sorry. You'll be pulling on the front of this airbag, and it'll pop up like that. You can see. When it does that, that's when you get the backside. So that's the Buick bag. The Opel and Insignia bag for the Vauxhalls and Holdens are a bit different. Airbag looks the same, but on the back, you can see it's completely different. Now the way to get this one loose is much easier. You're going to run a screwdriver right here to the side, and you're going to push over, and then you're just going to keep pushing, and then you're going to pull on the side of the airbag and wait for it to pop. So there's no even chance of being able to use the different airbags. I meant the different airbags on the different steering wheels. Now the funny thing is, as I'll point out, is that these connectors right here are the same connector. And when you connect them into this car, the car doesn't know difference, and they both work the same way. So we're good. And there we go, just like that. I think that was it. You just need to push it in to go into the steering wheel after you get it off this little clip there. Another clip seems to have popped out maybe, or at least it sounded like it did. And see, there it is. There's a little clip right there. So we got one clip out. Looks like we're still missing a clip. No, we got it. There, we got it. Damn. I'm trying to make it difficult, didn't I? Well, now we know. All right, step, and of course disconnect the plug from the column. Which, take your little fingernail, pull that little red piece out, and then the plug should come right out. It's a lot easier when you're not trying to hold a camera and do some of this, so I'm going to go back to just trying to do this and then show it to you later. Well, people, that was the hard part. It just slid right off. There is one thing, caveat to that, is this bolt. This bolt is held on. It's a T50, by the way, with some really heavy duty Loctite. Like, I could not get it with my hand. I could not get it with my favorite 20 volt. I had to bring out the big gun. So if you're gonna do this and you don't have air tools, no, you're gonna need to go find a friend with air tools. Installation is basically removal reversed. So you just put the clamshells back on. Once you got it bolted in here and you got the wires connected, just smack it in place. It'll go right into place. And then turn it on and test everything. So as we can see here, right there, watch it all clear up and stuff. No error codes. Well, hold on. Let me put on my seatbelt to prove. There we go. No error codes. European steering wheel. And it's a Buick. Well, it won't be a Buick for long. Anyway, till next time, guys. And if you want to look forward to more of these conversions and the decladding I'm going to do to this car, let me know. I'll have more on there, especially when it comes to taking the bumpers off and some of the features like that, because that'll be good for everybody in general. Talk to you later.